Good day, everyone. We're going to be talking about safe lifting techniques, how to carry and move things without hurting ourselves in the process. So the objectives here are to list common causes of back injuries, define general safe lifting practice, demonstrate 1- and 2-person lifts, recognize when lifting aids are necessary, and define when medical attention might be necessary. And of course, back injuries are the single largest type of injury plaguing workers and individuals. And it accounts for the most days away from work. And we're going to find out why they're so common and how we can stay healthy. Generally, they're caused by several things: improper lifting or carrying, which can include carrying something too heavy, carrying something awkwardly, reaching for a load, extending our back muscles, twisting while carrying a load, and jerking the body while carrying a load. Some other reasons include poor posture. That's why ergonomics in the office area are so important. Poor physical condition. Trauma from falls, tripping, or jarring, and other personal factors, which can include men sitting on thick wallets, women wearing very high heels, and, of course, furniture that's just not designed well or made poorly. So when we're lifting something, we want to make sure the path we're taking is clear, because once we've engaged this load, we don't want to have to sidestep something that's in our way if there's debris. And also, we want to make sure there's a place to put the load when we get there, that we don't have to awkwardly have one person maybe hold it while someone else clears space, or expose ourselves to holding that load too long. So generally, we want to size up the load and determine, will we need help? Will we need a lifting device? And is it just too awkward to carry alone? One of the things we want to make sure when we're lifting something is we get the load close to us. You can see in the left-hand picture, this load is near my body, and picking it up is not going to be near as exertive as if I were picking it up from the location it's at in the right-hand picture. So we just use less muscles and less force on those muscles when we got the load near us. And 1-person lift, we want to stand close to that load, keep our feet shoulder width apart, make sure our footing is solid, make sure we bend at the knees, not our back, and lift steadily. Don't do jerk motions as you're lifting. Don't bend your back, keep it natural curves, and let your legs do the lifting. And this works well with objects that we can straddle. And we can use a power lift if we put one foot in front of the other using a wide stance, keep our back straight, push our backside out, and use our leg and hips to lower ourselves down on the object. And again, keep that load close to us, make sure we've got a good handle on it, and lift upwards, following your head and shoulders, holding the load close. Lift by extending your legs with your back straight and your backside out, and exaggerate that, and breathe out as you lift. Make sure you use your breathing to help control that load. This is an illustration of a power lift here, and you can kind of see if it's too large to straddle, this is a good one. The object shifts your center of gravity forward, and you got to bring your backside out to compensate for this. And this generally what weightlifters do. If you watch how weightlifters lift very large sets of weights, this is one of the tactics they use in their weightlifting competitions. One of the first things when you're lifting below the waist, size up the load. You want to make sure you know how much weight you're doing with, that you're not overdoing or underdoing what you need. Stand close to it. Keep your shoulder width stance and keep your footing solid. Bend the hips and knees, grasp the load firmly, and keep it close to the body as always. Lift slow whenever possible, and shift the load to waist level, and move your feet to turn. Don't twist at the waist. Don't twist your torso. That can really put some damage to some muscles by doing that. So twist or move your whole body. The golfer's lift is whenever you need to bend into a deep bend or pick something light off the floor. Bend over, extending one leg backward, and keep the back in line with the extended leg. Slide the load toward the body prior to lifting, and lower your back leg as the body is raised. So it kind of counters yourself as you're doing this. Two-person lift. You can see some pictures here of ways to do it and ways to not do it. Try to lift with someone close to your own height. If you've ever done this with somebody that's significantly taller or shorter than you, it does make it a little more challenging. Stand as close to the load as possible. Keep your feet, again, shoulder width apart. Solid footing, bend the knees. Keep your back in its natural curve. And lift steadily while holding it close to the center of the body. And move slow with small steps, and make sure you work together to put the load down simultaneously so nobody's carrying more than their share of weight as they're setting it down. Turning with a load, make sure you lift the load, hold the load very close to your body, and turn the leading foot 90 degrees toward the direction you want to turn. And then bring the lagging foot next without twisting your body. So again, make that move with your feet, not with your body. For loads above your shoulders, use a stool or ladder to get closer to the load, and very important here, make sure it's not too heavy. The worst thing you want to be is up on a ladder or a stool and trying to manage something that's way more than you should be doing alone. Ask for help if necessary. Consider rearranging the contents of the shelves to put the heavier items or more frequently used items where they're more accessible, so you don't have to do this over and over on a very high portion of the shelving area. Of course, we have carts and hand trucks and things that we can use to push a load, and it's much easier to push something rather than pull it. Keep the elbows and the load or mechanical equipment close to the body. For balance, put one foot forward, push off with your back leg, and take steady short steps, and use your body weight, not your feet, to push the load. Excuse me. And whenever possible, use mechanical devices to lift or transport your loads. And especially when these loads are heavy or bulky, you can really do some damage to your body trying to move things alone that you should be using a mechanical device. Here's an example of a mechanical scissors lift that we have. And if you're familiar with these, it starts out in a very low position so that you can get the whatever it is you're working with onto the scissor lift here. And you can jack that scissor lift up, usually just by pressing a pedal or pulling a handle, depending on how the scissor lift. Something definitely wrong here, and that's this scissor lift should go as high as the table that the individual's trying to do, but you can see he's trying to pick up that load and get it to the table, whereas if we evened these tables up, it would work much better. So we need to make sure we either have a cart that can go to the maximum height of the lift if this is the maximum height, or just take the lift up a little more and get them evened up is the right answer. And we can see that here. And we also see that he's doing a good job of securing. He's got his foot getting carefully under the wheel there. And as he slides the load from this lift onto the cart, his foot keeps the cart from moving out from beneath the load as it's being transferred. But if you do everything correctly and still have an injury, you want to make sure you report that to the appropriate personnel. That's generally your supervisor, and definitely seek medical attention if you're unable to move without pain. If this pain lasts several days and symptoms are severe or they get worse, if this pain prevents you from taking part in regular daily tasks and you don't get relief from the treatments, basically. And if your medical provider issues a strict restriction, that's not just for work, that's at home. So a lot of times we think work-related injuries only apply to things we do at work, but we have to make sure in our homes we're not worsening something that we did at work, and vice versa should that happen. Other considerations is the fact that poor posture. You see this person kind of leaning over. That's putting a lot of force on the back and spine area there. Poor physical condition. Even just a few minutes of daily physical activity can make a big difference in your physical condition. So take time to make sure you keep yourself in shape. Any trauma that you have can definitely play a role in this. And other personal factors, as we mentioned before, is these things that we talked about in the earlier slide. And last but not least, help your body to stay healthy. Maintain good posture, keep fit. Walking is very good for you. They tout that over and over. Keep your area clean. Keep the tripping and slipping hazards away. Take a rest break to rest those muscles. Stretch occasionally. If your company has ergonomic exercises, those are great. If not, you can implement them in your own time. And ask for assistance if you need some workstation modifications. Maybe your workstation is too low or too high, and just a slight modification to your workstation, or even a minor to major. The bottom line is your health, and you want to take care of yourself. And always ask for help. Don't try to overdo it. So hopefully you've learned some things about safe lifting here that can help you prevent injury to yourself and others as you're working in lifting items in the workplace and in your home. Have a great day.